I'm Soleil and welcome to the Little Reader's Corner. Today I'm doing my top 2018 media. Dun 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 dun! I say media because I am including books, movies, TV shows. I got like a comic book and a manga and a anime in there, which I'm kind of just stuffing all together, so here we go. As I say my list, let's all just keep in mind that I have a terrible memory, and I did try to research all of the movies and TV shows that came out during the entire year of 2018, and books that I said I read on Goodreads. However, I'm probably missing some kind of fantastic movie or TV show that I watched, so let's just keep that in mind, and I'll probably remember every other fantastic thing that I watched or read in the year of 2018 when I upload this video, so it's fine. Okay, so we're starting off with movies! There were so many fantastic movies that I saw in 2018. Throughout the entire year, I forgot how long 2018 was, and that year started off real strong with some movies. I probably am forgetting all of the fantastic movies that I saw at the beginning of 2018, and these are mostly just movies that I saw towards the end of 2018 because those are the ones that I remember. So, in no particular order, these are my top 5 movies of 2018 with some honorable mentions towards the end. We have a very unexpected contender, which was A Quiet Place. I do not like horror, thriller, suspense movies at all. I hate them. I despise them. I cannot stand it. They are terrifying, and I do not understand why anyone would subject themselves to watching something so terrifying and then not being able to sleep for like the next month. However, I saw A Quiet Place, and it was fantastic. Like, it was amazing. It was so good. It was so well written. It was so well made. And John Krasinski, I'm just so proud of him, you know? Like, everyone just knows him from The Office, but like, I watched The Office because he was in The Office, and I'm just so impressed. So, and the whole, what everyone always talks about with this movie, with A Quiet Place, is the fact how it just made, first of all, representation, and I'm just so glad they brought in the deaf community, and they brought in ASL, and like sign communication, and nonverbal communication, and that just was so important. But I was so impressed how, for a lot of people, when I talked to them about seeing the movie, everyone was so conscious about any kind of sound that they made in the theater while they were watching it. So, you know, everyone comes in with their big buckets of popcorn and they're just like chowing down, and then the movie starts and they start getting into it, and then just everyone stopped eating their popcorn. It was just silent, and I had to like zip up my jacket or something like that in between, or I like moved in my seat, and it was just so ear-splittingly loud because this movie was so quiet, and I just think that was phenomenal. The score and just how all of the sound effects were done in the movie, fantastic. So yes, surprisingly, A Quiet Place was top 5 movies of 2018, even though I despise horror, thriller, suspense, anything of that genre. So that's how you know you did a really good job. So thank you. The next movie I saw, I think it was in like spring of 2018, which was 8th Grade, directed by Bo Burnham. I knew when I went to go see this movie with my friend that it would be, you know, kind of like a throwback to 8th grade and just a little cringeworthy, but oh my goodness, they nailed middle school in such a horrific and wonderfully uncomfortable way. What blew me about this movie was that it was more set for middle schoolers today, I believe, because I think it had like Snapchat and like Instagram and all that stuff in it, maybe? I think it was like a little more modern than like my generation. All had like a very similar experience to 8th grade, but then like a little less technology, but still very present with like how YouTube was like coming in and all of this stuff with everything. Oh my god, it was just It was spot on. Any parent who sees this movie or saw this movie and was kind of freaked out and thought it was unrealistic, this is very accurate. What really gets me is that it was rated R. It was rated R, and this is literally the experience of middle schoolers and 8th graders everywhere who, as far as I know, are like 12, 13 years old-ish, somewhere around there. And Elsie Fisher did such a good job portraying a middle schooler. She is fantastic. As far as I know, she hasn't won any awards for the role yet, but she has been a nominee and she deserves an award of some kind for her role in this movie because she's so good. Oh my gosh. However, it was rated R, which is just hilarious. And then, you know, after I saw the movie, because, you know, I was like, why is this rated R? Like, they said the F-bomb maybe like twice, but I'm pretty sure that they lowered that standard for R-rated movies, that it's not just like one F-bomb or something. And I think it was only once, because that wasn't what made it an R-rated movie. What made it an R-rated movie was the fact that in like the first 10 seconds of the film, there was a child sniffing a Sharpie, which we all know was a thing in middle school. Like, they didn't even show any children like snorting freaking pixie sticks, which apparently is a thing now, which is just, why? Don't freaking do it. Don't do it. It's stupid. It's dumb. But that's the reason they rated it R, which just blows my mind. And for like a good fun time, you could totally check out commonsensemedia.org, which is just a really fun time that my friend Tasia and I had during all of our childhood, when we would check on the ratings that parents would give for like certain kinds of media and movies. Hunger Games was a good time to see on there. Wolf of Wall Street on there is like pretty intense too, but it like rates it on like drug use, language, and it's just all of these like pretty conservative parents talking about how this is like destroying their children's minds. And 8th grade on there got some really interesting feedback for all of the parents saying how this was corrupting their children's minds. I'm like, girl, you haven't talked to your child who's currently in middle school. So anyways, 8th grade was definitely on the list, and it is fantastic. Next is a very recent addition. I saw it, I believe it was like December 20 something. So it was like right at the end of 2018. And that is Vice, which is about Dick Cheney and his rise to be vice president and in this really powerful position, and how he changed the vice presidency. And he was played by Christian Bale, who, first off, like, Christian Bale was Batman, as we all know. So first, he had 100 individual pieces of like face prosthetics to play this role, and it was phenomenal. His entire face shape changed to play this role, and he gained 60 pounds for this role, just for this role, and then he's already lost it, which just blows my mind. Freaking Christian Bale. Wow. I realized while I was in the theater watching this movie, and definitely afterwards, how much my education has failed me, because I knew just about nothing about Dick Cheney or the vice presidency or, you know, America during this time in politics or anything that happened concerning this time in politics. And, oof, wow. So, first off, educational as hell. Very well done. Wow. Just the way, the cinematography of the entire movie and how it was set up. There is this one running thing, and I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen the movie, because it's just so much more impactful if you visually just see it in the movie. But there is this certain running character throughout the entire thing who's kind of the narrator. The entire time, you're not entirely sure who he is, if he has anything to do with it, but there's a reason why he's there. That's all I'm gonna say to it. And that is just, in and of itself, a fantastic little, just tiny piece of this entire movie. Just the way it was done was like strangely artistic, and then halfway through, it looked like it was the end of the movie. It was like this happy ending, and it was like, yeah, so he ended up not running for vice president. He lived out his life in a farmhouse with his family, and everyone's just sitting there like, but he didn't. But wait, he didn't. He didn't though. He actually did run for vice president and be, well, he was the vice president for a while. And then it's like, kidding, do, and then the movie kept going. Everyone's like, okay, and it was just, it was a fantastic movie. It was so good. No matter what your view on politics is, just for the way this movie was made and watching Christian Bale take on this role, oh my god, it was a fantastic. Next movie on my top movies of 2018 is my boy, Love, Simon. The movie adaptation of Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda. Boop, look, there's a little sticker. I saw that towards the beginning of 2018, and I had sped through the book to be able to see the movie, so I saw them like in quick succession. The movie is just an amazing adaptation. Just a fantastic adaptation. Oh my goodness. I was so impressed. Of course, they changed like very minor small things. They made it a little more artistic. They made it a little more relatable. They didn't have like the copyright to have one of the characters be like a Dementor. I think Simon's a Dementor for Halloween or something like that. I don't think they had like the copyright for him to be in a Dementor, so they just like changed their Halloween costumes, which was fine. It was still great. Oh well. But they just did such a wonderful job of adapting this book into a movie format, which is always super difficult, especially when you have an entire following from reading the book. And they just brought it to life, and the cast was phenomenal. I own the movie. I've seen it many times. I'm just very proud of this book to movie adaptation. If you haven't read it, if you haven't watched the movie, please do, because it is adorable and it fills you with life and sadness and emotions, and it's just heartwarmingly good. So watch it. It's good. Ah! Fifth top movie of 2018 is Black Panther. I think it came out in like March, and I saw it a couple times in the theater as well. I can't say anything different on Black Panther than anyone else has already said. It was amazing. The casting was fantastic. Costume and set design, oh my goodness. I was following the costume designer. I don't remember what their name is exactly, but I was following the costume designer before the movie came out and was just blown away by all of the conceptual design and everything that they had planned out for the movie. And then I saw the movie, and the costumes and the design and the entire, just everything was beautiful, absolutely fantastic. I love how they took this story and just made it like into the geopolitical sphere. The cast is amazing. Everyone did a fantastic job. I'm so happy that children now have like this kind of hero to look up to, and it's not just, you know, all the Caucasians winning the fights. So, yes, I hope we can move towards more of that. Thank goodness. Whoop whoop. And I think this is one of my favorite Marvel stories right next to Spider-Man, so yay. Okay, so those are my top 5 movies, and they were in no specific order of movies I saw in 2018 that I really enjoyed. Now here are my kind of honorable mentions of the year that didn't specifically make it into my top 5, but also these are also kind of in my top 5, so I guess it's just kind of like my top movies, but I wanted to make it like a 5 solid number, so I just kind of slipped these in there as honorable mentions. Those are Bohemian Rhapsody, Crazy Rich Asians, and The Greatest Showman. So Bohemian Rhapsody I just saw early December before I went back home for break with my friend, and it was very good. I knew very little about Queen. I was unaware that one of the Queen songs was actually by Queen. I thought it was like a Michael Jackson song. It's not. It was a Queen song. I love the entire soundtrack now. I've got into a lot of Queen music. The story was just heartwarming and amazing. Rami Malek was fantastic in the role. Oh my goodness. Wow. Amazing. Go watch the movie. It's a good time. They did a really good job. And then Crazy Rich Asians, I saw it with my parents in September. Yeah, September. Such a cute movie. It was amazing. The amount of production value that went into that movie blows my mind. It was very well made. The cast was phenomenal. It is, I think it's now one of like the top grossing movies, definitely the top grossing movies with an entire Asian cast, which is amazing and astonishing that it took so long to get there. So I'm just hoping that this will bring us closer to such kind of aspirations and goals for the rest of the 2000s and into the future. Like, why did it take us so long? I don't know, but it's a phenomenal movie. And then, of course, The Greatest Showman, which I think I saw in theaters about 3 times. It was just heartwarming, and the soundtrack was so good. I loved the movie. I don't think I have anything really to say on it except that I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was... The soundtrack was so good. The acting was great. I really enjoyed the story. There was like one little divot that I thought was kind of annoying that I kind of skip whenever I see it again. But it was so good. Those are all of my favorite movies, media of 2018. If you want to see my top TV shows, books, anime, and comic books, please go see my next video, which will be out next week, probably, maybe, we'll see, I guess. Yes, but thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed any of these movies as well, or think that I absolutely missed out on a phenomenal movie of 2018, I probably did, please let me know in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye! Conscious? Everyone was so conscious. Conscious.